Well, I don't know Mark real well, but I know him enough to know I think he was excited about his team, and I think that's pretty obvious when you watch the way that they play. And I haven't gone back to any films from last year, so I really don't know what the difference is there. But the similarities are if we move the ball and move without the ball the way that they do, then we're similar. They're extremely good at they can play through everybody on the court, and I think that's what makes them rare. And they're a tremendous low post passing team, especially Des Wells. They can pass it off the dribble. Smotrich and Lehman are unique, and not only can they shoot and drive, but they can really pass. They can rebound. Certainly Trimble does so many different things for them, but he's also the beneficiary of being around some really good players. And Nickens is a tremendous three-point shooter. Wells is a tremendous three-point shooter. Pack can get his shot at the rim and shoot threes. Trimble is so good at drawing contact and getting to the foul line, as they all are. So similarities. Some they got a lot of length. They've got a lot of their size is really hard to deal with. I think we're going to see that tomorrow night. I mean, they cover a lot of ground, and they've beaten teams that have played spread out basketball, and they've beaten teams that have played along the 3-point line. So we're just going to have to see what the game gives us. Certainly we want to get the game in transition, as I imagine that they would. So there's similarities in the sense that I think everybody, you can see there's good chemistry on the court with guys pulling for one another and playing together. I think those kind of things stand out. But they're one of the best passing teams I've seen. And I'm not sure we're at that point, and we're not at a point where we can play through everybody on the court. So some similarities, but they've earned their stripes, they've earned their ranking, they've earned their notoriety because of the way they've played the entire year. Well, I think it's ongoing. I think it's constantly ongoing. I think again, moving without the ball, he's a committed two-way player. He's committed to defense, and the thing he's got to make sure of is that he doesn't let offense dictate his defense, and that's what he has to have made sure he's grown out of, and because that's the key sign of leadership. The key sign of consistency is if something's not going well for you in one area, that you don't let it take away from another area, and he's definitely got to be better defensively tomorrow night than he was the other night, but he's moving the ball. He's driving the ball extremely well. He's getting really good looks. And he had tremendous poise the other day. So I think that to me, when you build on those characteristics, and he's really been like that the last couple of weeks, but it's got to be a consistent thing, and then I think everybody else feeds off that. But we've got other leaders, emerging. I mean, everybody's a leader. They really are. I mean, and it's either positive or it's negative, but it's leadership. And so the more that you have guys that are really locked into what has to happen to win that possession, or be successful in that possession, be successful throughout the game, win the game. Those are the guys that really emerge as the best leaders.
What do they really do defensively that allows them to be as good as they are defending the three and also block the
Length. They have tremendous length. They've got three. When they can play a lot of different lineups. They can go with 5 shooters and put Smotrich at the 5. They can play any of the other big guys and create a lot of havoc around the basket. And Jonathan Graham coming off the bench, sometimes starting for them. He was a starter in our league at Penn State. Dodd is outstanding. I mean, tremendous screener, sprint guy, plays around the rim, can pass, guards pick and roll, blocks shots, and he's a huge young man. I mean, he's taking a lot of space there. So I think it's the length. I think it's the fact that this is not a game where we're going to match up with 3, 5, 11 guys. They're all. Trimble's a big. He may not be real tall, but he's pretty thick and he's tall enough. But these are some big wings. Nickens is long and Wiley's long and Pack looks long to me, and then certainly Lehman and Smotrich in the way that those guys play. So I think it's length. They cover for each other. They don't get too extended. And I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, we've got to really move them. No, not with this. Not with the versatility. It's the length, but it's the skills. Really, this is the first team we've played that you can literally play through all 5 guys he has on the court. And Wells is as good low post passer. He's as good a passer as there is in the conference, in my mind. And he's doing things in that low post that we were doing with Dwayne Wade back at Marquette. You put him on the block, and he could just carve you up, with somebody cutting underneath the basket or kicking it out for a three. And I'm not calling him Dwayne Wade. I'm saying he's playing. He has the ability to do that out of the low post, and it's an unbelievable weapon. And his ability to pass off the dribble and pass out of the post, make open shots. I mean, that he's as hard a matchup. So when you start talking about length and versatility and size and skill set, Wells is as hard a matchup as there is in the conference. This team is, to me, this team is, I said it the other day, and I think it's the truth to me. If you watched UConn last year, it's very, very similar to that in the sense, but there's probably even more skill guys up front, and there's even more guys that can create offense for other people, not just shoot and drive, and guards that handle it. So they're the real deal. I mean, they've built it, and they're a little bit older than people realize, because of Wells and Smotrich and Graham, and I mean they've been down the road a little bit. They've got some good young players playing, but no, I wouldn't say there's anybody that we've played that has that size and that skill set that they have.
What are your thoughts about the way Hartman is playing and putting the ball?
Well, it's a hard role because he's got to guard a lot of different people, but it's hard for everybody right now. And we can't go into the game. If we go into the game overly worried or concerned about how we're going to guard the post, we wouldn't even show up for the game. I mean, seriously, because, we don't have that. We're not there. And Emmett's getting better, certainly, but the key is the fight. Will you get down and will you use your body, and is the ball pressure good? Are you getting back in transition? Are you working to not get buried in the post? And we've got to be, we've got to mix things up. I mean, that's how we have to be right now. And Emmett's learning how to guard those positions, and as is Colin, as is Troy, so I think, again, we've got to make sure that he's a great communicator defensively, that he's covering ground, that he's almost, whether he's behind in the zone or guarding his man down low, that there's some real responsibility of communication with the guys out front. But then offensively, we got to continue to expand him and utilize him and take advantage of his skills. And at the same time, we got to find a way to score some baskets in the post. Well, I think the key is for anybody is not to internalize any part of it. To me, we didn't internalize, at least I didn't, and try to help them to understand. Don't internalize all the negativity and all the things that were swirling around when that was going on, and don't start internalizing praise and taking any of this for granted. And I think the young guys, and they're all young, obviously as young men, but the younger players, sometimes you got to make sure they have a tendency not to live in yesterday and not to be caught up, whether it was good or bad, that they got to absolutely be on to the next day and to what it takes to get ready for that practice and that next game, and stay absolutely locked into what is controllable, which is your attitude, which is the effort that you come with, which is your ability to listen and understand a game plan, take advantage of what's there, try to cover up what's not there. So, in all honesty, that's got to be the mindset, and that's my mindset. So I don't have an emotion really one way or the other. Just like I really didn't have an outward emotion other than the sadness I had for some, for what Devin was going through. This has really just been, we're just working every day to make this thing as strong as it can possibly be on a day-to-day basis, and we're not going to get away from that. And if I don't get away from that, then that doesn't allow anybody else to get away from that. If I were to get away from that, well, then I'd have to look in the mirror. I don't have any problem staying true to what we have to do every day and holding people accountable to that no matter what happens.
Yes, to follow up on that, it sort of sounded like on the radio show you were talking about they appreciated and they understood what it took to get to where they are with the ranking and some of the national attention they're getting. Do you think that this team has some self-awareness to it?
I don't know. I really don't know. And that what I'm most concerned about is how we practice and how we prepare. And if we practice the way we did yesterday afternoon, we won't be very good. If we practice the way we did last night when we came back, we'll be fine. That's all I'm concerned about. The bottom line becomes, are we understanding every day that it's a new day and you've got to be better? And everything's got to be full steam ahead. And that means not jumping too far ahead, learning from the past, certainly in the sense of the film of the last game and things of that nature. But there's too many guys that want to play if somebody gets caught up in the glamour of college basketball. You can't be that way. Winning is very, very, very hard in any sport, at any level. But certainly in this level and in this league, it's very, very hard to win. And so you got to put all your energies and efforts into what it takes to be successful and what it takes to eliminate what your weaknesses are. And if you spend time getting distracted in other things, you won't be very good. So it's the best answer I can give you. Well, I think I've always had great respect for Maryland and great respect for that area and respect for Mark Turgeon and his staff. So, and they're really, really good. So even if we didn't know much about them, you'd be looking at it with a lot of respect because of how they play on both ends of the court, how they move the ball. But they're really, really good. I mean, there's guys on that team that are going to be playing basketball for a very long time at a very high level, and so that's what you're getting ready for more than anything else.
When you play guys like Troy or Colin or Emmett at the 5, how do you make sure that you dictate kind of the mismatches and the tempo compared to a team like Maryland and they're trying to impose their will and their versatility on you?
Well, it's not as much. We'll put Yogi in positions where he's the 5. I mean, offensively, you just have versatility, but we've done that for some time, and that's all part of what you see in matchups, from when you're watching film, and then certainly what you see inside of the game. But you can't spend so much time on matchups and so much time on isolations and things like that when you need a flow team. If you just had a couple of guys that you really wanted to take advantage of, then that's another story, and there's a time and place for that. But when you're trying to play in flow as much as we are, and we have sets, but it's more conceptual than it really is sets. The sets get the concepts going. The concept has got to be make the pass a little sooner, keep reversing the ball, play through the entire court, get the ball into the paint, and fly like crazy to the glass. And defensively, get back, take away transition, be in position to stop the drive, all right? Challenge shots, and make sure all 5 are locked into rebounding, whether they're blocking out or whether they're not. Go ahead, Jeff. Well, I think we've covered that, and he just keeps getting better, and there's good versatility to him. He's smart, can pass, shooting the ball, wants to win. He's definitely tougher and stronger because he's more mature, and I think that's the bottom line. And the key is we've got to have a lot of different guys that can contribute for us. But he's got room to improve. I mean, believe me, and they all do. And he's got a lot of room to improve. And it's not one of those seasons right now with where we're at where you can look at it and say, well, he's not ready to guard him or he's not ready to guard him. We can't do that. We cannot do that. So we have to be ready, ready to take on anything that we see inside of that game, and have the toughness and the intelligence to do that. So with that being said, he's got a lot of toughness. He's got a lot of intelligence.
Just to follow up on him, at the same time, how much does he help offensively in some ways playing that 5? It felt like Illinois struggled to guard him because he could stretch the floor and he was maybe the only natural matchup.
Well, I think he's been doing that really all year because, and again, that position certainly different. It brings you out. I mean, and that's why we've got to have a lot of movement because he can pass and he can drive the ball. And this is still not a guy that practices without restrictions every day. I mean, not even close to that. So there's still some limitations athletically to him, right now that have not come all the way back because he's not, certainly he's healed enough to be playing and playing pretty effectively, but he's not all the way back, without pain. So that's why we sit him out certain days. So I think he'll continue to get better, because we certainly don't over-practice him, much to his. He likes to be in there, and then there's just times that we don't have him in. But he can do that, and I think Max has got to be able to do that for us. I think Emmett being able to bring the driving game, I think I said this the other day, but I think that's going to be crucial, too, as we go forward. We were never going to be conventional this year. We thought we'd be a little more conventional inside. We're not, based on circumstances and injuries. So just deal with it, and you do your best every day to put packages in. They're going to utilize those guys, but again, it really comes back to the flow, and it comes back to their willingness to be smart and tough when it comes to defending people. Because you got to be as smart as you are tough. I mean, it's one thing that, you know, we don't want to overfoul. We don't want to be in a position where we're putting people to the foul line, especially this team. Now, one of the keys to the Illinois win is they're so good shooting free throws. We only got there 12 times. You know, that's key for us. You know, we got to defend the three. We got to keep people off the foul line, and do our best to keep it, you know, off the rim as much as possible. So, Colin provides a lot of that on all areas, as do the other guys.